What's going on, friends? Pretty nice day out here in Pattaya. Little warm, little cloudy. I honestly think we're in for some rain here a little bit later this morning. Here at one of my favorite spots, Starbucks right here on Beach Road. Yes, I know I can get Starbucks wherever, but sometimes I get up too early and there's no other cafes open until 8 or 9 o'clock. This Starbucks opens at 7, so sometimes I come here. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the little motorbike trip that Aaron and I took. I was preparing to make part 5 and then realized I really didn't have any more footage. The reason for that is I went to the Genocide Museum called S21. And this was used by the Khmer Rouge. When I took the tour of this museum, I did the audio tour. They give you some headphones and a map, and you basically walk through the whole museum by yourself and listen to them as they describe, you know, what happened to the prisoners when they first entered and what the different rooms were for. I do have a few photos and a little bit of video, but basically they didn't want me to bring my camera inside that area. This Genocide Museum was used by the Khmer Rouge from 1975 until 1979. The prison itself was an old school and they just converted it into a prison. They put the iron bars over a lot of the windows, and then they ended up putting barbed wire over a lot of areas as well because there were people that were committing suicide. They couldn't deal with the conditions anymore, so they just killed themselves. So then they start checking everyone as they came in. They start making sure that their shackles were tight, and then they put the barbed wire up so they couldn't jump from the 2nd or 3rd floor. And it was estimated that about 20,000 people were in prison there. If you look at the numbers, it was 18,145. They killed 18,133. There at the museum, they do have photos of the people that did survive. In fact, when I was leaving, one of the survivors was there, and you could sit with him, take a photo. I believe he had a book you could purchase. For me, that was just not something I really wanted to do. After I had walked through the whole museum and heard all the stuff that went on, knowing that, you know, he might have been one of the people that had to deal with that stuff. I didn't look to see what his name was or anything. I just seen that they had the big sign saying that he was one of the survivors. I know a couple of the people that they allowed to live, they did so because they had skills. One of the survivors was an artist, and another one of the survivors was really good with repairing machinery. They have a room toward the back of the museum where there's human skulls, and so you can see how some of them were hit over the head or shot in the head or whatever it was. They have photos of pretty much all of the prisoners that come through there. All of the prison cells are still there, so you can see how small they are. The conditions that they made these people live in was absolutely ridiculous, atrocious, horrible, disgusting. It led to lice and ringworms and skin rashes. They basically didn't give them any baths, they just hosed them down every few days. They also would make them give a confession. So they would have to confess that they committed treasonous acts even though they didn't. After they would write and sign their confession, then they would get tortured and beat and killed. It's just crazy. One of the things that really got to me was these rooms in the first building. They were the torture rooms. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Vietnamese troops that pushed the Khmer Rouge out. Basically, they knew that their regime was coming to an end, and so they were just trying to kill everybody that they could inside that prison. And they just left the bodies there, and then when the troops came in, they took photos of everything, and they still have those photos up for you to see. It was actually a very chilling and somber experience. It was quite depressing, to be honest. I really can't put it into words. It's just one of those things, again, that you would have to go and see and experience for yourself. The one thing I wish I would have done is gone to the actual killing fields. If I'm not mistaken, those were like 15 kilometers away from where S21 is. After I got back to Thailand, I thought, you know what, I should have just went ahead and went. I was already there. I should have just went ahead and gone and checked it out. I believe the next day I went to a coffee shop that was right along the river called Tube Coffee. It was a really nice morning when I went to the coffee shop. The air was cool and crisp, sun was shining bright. Their coffee was fairly decent as well, and nice chill vibe in there. It was quiet. I was able to sit there and read my book and relax for a couple hours. After that, I left Cambodia and I came back to Thailand. Aaron continued further into Vietnam, That's a whole another story. Maybe he'll tell you one day about it. What was going through my mind was I'm gonna have to cross into Vietnam, spend time there, and then on the way back to Thailand, I'm gonna have to come right back through Cambodia again and go through all this crazy paperwork. I'm never taking my motorbike outside of Thailand ever again. It was just too much hassle. That was probably 90% of my decision to leave and come back to Thailand. The other 10% of that decision to leave early and come back to Thailand was, at the time, I was seeing a young lady here, and she was calling me and saying, hey, come back, I don't want you to be gone that long, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm not gonna lie, that was part of the reason why I came back. The largest part of the reason why I came back was because I just really didn't feel like dealing with Cambodia anymore. That trip was supposed to be about a month, but for me, it ended up only being about 10 days. I'm gonna get back to drinking my coffee before it gets cold, and I'm gonna start this new book, Mike Connolly, The Black Echo. This is the author that does The Lincoln Lawyer as well as the Bosch series. According to this list right here on the inside, this is the first book in the Bosch series, so that's why I got it. I hope you guys enjoyed the motorbike tour. Hope you enjoyed the vids. Hope you're enjoying life. Hope you're doing your best every day to fight off the negativity. I have a saying, it's not my saying, it's one that I seen a long time ago. It says, weak people revenge, strong people forgive, intelligent people ignore. And that's kind of what I do with negativity. I just ignore it. There's no point in engaging with it, because 9 times out of 10, the people that start the negativity, all they want to do is argue. So it doesn't matter what you say, they're just gonna try to find something wrong with that and force it back into the direction that fits their narrative. And so my thought process is exactly as I said when I was standing in Angkor Wat. It doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what you think, it doesn't matter what you believe, it doesn't matter if you have this situation over here that happened to you, or you have this situation that you've seen happen to a bunch of other people. You take those situations and you project those outcomes onto me and assume that that's what's going on in my life. You can do all of that. It's not going to change the fact that I'm still living my life. Are you going to come here to Pattaya, and when you see me out here, you're going to physically stop me from doing the things that you don't like? I don't like that he does that. I don't like the way he does that. Are you physically going to stop me from doing it? No. But as I said in Angkor Wat, I'm human. And so naturally, sometimes those words, they rile my spirit a little bit. I think as men, we're taught to not express that stuff. You don't let people know that what they say gets to you. You don't show any type of emotion. It's a sign of weakness. Well, no, not necessarily. It's a sign of strength in the fact that you're strong enough to admit that this stuff gets to you, but at the same time, I'm strong enough to not allow it to actually stop me from doing what I'm doing. If someone said something to you and you thought, oh man, they don't like what I'm doing. I can't do that no more because they don't like it. To me, that would be a weakness. But to have somebody say blah, blah, blah over here, I know what the truth is, so I don't care what you're saying. I don't have this pressing need or desire to prove myself right to somebody that I don't even know. Think what you want, man. Believe what you want. All right. Cheers to that. Like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the motorbike trip. Hopefully you are having a great day. And we'll see you soon. Oh, that caramel macchiato is good like a boss.